this is the post-pandemic era. This is an ecosystem highly disrupted by the COVID virus. This is an era which has completely changed the face of business, completely changed the face of the corporate arena. So many CEOs, so many entrepreneurs have had to give up their visions, their missions, their goals, purely because their foundations literally crumbled in. Each one of them were highly influenced by the external forces and therefore caved in. Now imagine, just imagine, if you were one of those whose own physical ability had to cave in. Imagine if you were one of those who had, let's say, a stroke. Would you be able to chase your visions and your missions and your goals if that stroke had turned you into a vegetable? Would you have been able to recreate an absolute new enterprise if you were a vegetable? My dear gladiators, let me connect you today with a very, very special guest who was fit as a fiddle, so to speak, and one fine day had a massive stroke where the doctor said that he had only a 5% chance of survival. From a vegetable, he voyaged all the way up to become an iconic entrepreneur counselor. He has always been a major source of inspiration for me, someone I've known from way back 1996, and I am so happy to present him today on our Sledgehammer's Edge Impact. Let's step in and let's hear his journey. Hi, Sharad, and welcome to the Sledgehammer's Edge.
Thank you.
Impact. It is such a pleasure, Sharad, having you today, because your journey is one of the most fascinating, the most amazing, and the most inspiring one that I've actually ever come across. And knowing the way you were in the past and knowing the way you are today, you are a huge, huge inspiration. So tell us, what was your life before you had this stroke?
Okay. Let me tell you about myself. When the stroke occurred, I was 44 years young between you and me. We always believe in young.
Yes, very true.
Yes, age it is age. It is a number. It is a state of mind.
Absolutely.
And I recently appointed as a COO for a mid-tier education company, and personal life was going great. I swam around 20 laps.
Wow, awesome.
And 5 days a week, ran a distance of 3 kilometers every day. Gym at least thrice a week. And on the weekends, I used to go and train for for my martial arts. And I had my son, my
Oh,
wife,
yes.
and personal life was going great. Why am I telling you all this? My point is that stroke can happen to anyone or anywhere, even someone as fit as what I was.
Right. And I'm not surprised because I recall, in fact, Sharad, you were the first person I met when I got professionally transferred to Bangalore way back in 1996. And I used to observe your regime, your regimen of, your workouts. In fact, we used to jog together every morning for
Yes,
kilometers and
yes,
kilometers, you remember?
yes, yes,
And you were absolutely fit, and you were also very heavily into martial arts, which
yes.
I never was into. And so I have seen that Sharad,
Yeah.
who was a wonder boy in terms of discipline, in terms of professional ethics. I mean, everything. You were a 360-degree ideal for people who would love to be walking in your shoes. But
Thank you.
Sharad, when did this stroke happen, and how did it happen?
On October 18th, October 2012, about 1 p.m., I was speaking to my boss around for 20 minutes. 2 minutes after that, I couldn't say a single word. I
Ah,
just lost my voice. No other complication whatsoever. But I had lost my voice. But I was in Whitefield, and my home was in JP Nagar. And I took a bus, Volvo bus, Whitefield to JP Nagar, and my brain bled furiously without realizing that I had a stroke.
oh my gosh! All right.
Normal, normal. I mm, I was.
All right. What you're trying to say is that apart from just losing your voice, you felt everything was normal.
Yes, yes.
Right. Right.
And then I called my wife up, and I planned to say something. Why wife was hearing
All right.
continuously garble voice. I was not able to speak.
Oh my gosh. All right. All right.
Yeah, but then we my wife realized that I was having a stroke.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but um, but the critics thing was that I walked to the hospital on my own.
You walked to the hospital all by
Yes,
yourself. And
yes.
and how many kilometers was that?
No, the wife was starting at the circle board junction.
Mhm.
I then she took me to the hospital Apollo,
Right.
and I went in, and I went on my own,
Okay. Okay.
and I was given a injection, and then I lost consciousness. Then I spent around 2 days. My memory is lost two days.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and then I had then October 18, 2012 to October 30th, when I was released, then I was I spent maybe 16 days at the hospital.
Okay. Okay.
And also then doctors have told me that I had a only 5% chance to survive.
Just 5%. You're trying to say the doctor then declared to you, or informed you rather, that you only had a 5% chance of survival.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Inform not me, but by wife and my brother. I had a only 5% chance to survive, and even if I survive, I might have to be hospitalized for the entire life, and I might have to uh, um, bond to the chair, uh, bond to the chair for a lifetime. And third was um, um, I couldn't speak. Doctors told me that I couldn't speak at all.
So what you're trying to say is that you were declared almost a vegetable.
Yes, yes.
You could not walk, you could hardly speak. In fact, no one could even understand what you were saying every time you tried to reach out verbally to anyone. So, in other words, you had become a vegetable, right? At that point of time, when you saw yourself so radically different from what you were just probably a day before, right? What was going in your mind at that point of time?
I I refuse to believe at that I had a stroke. Uh,
All right.
mm, uh, I, but the time I was explained that I had a stroke. To 10 days has passed, and I was defeated.
You were
I
defeated.
was planning to later on 2-3 months down the line, I was planning even to suicide.
Oh, so you mean you were so depressed and so lost that you were even willing to commit suicide?
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh! All right. Okay.
And I we stay on the 15th floor, and I was um, continuously going up to the window and coming back.
Mhm.
But Providence saved me,
Right.
and no other communication except shaking my head. Lost a lot of weight. I was 84 when when I got a stroke. I
Mhm.
was down to around 68. Uh, 18 kilos was lost in 2 weeks. Walking without with support, and prolonged sleep, and right arm refused to move. And I could understand read the newspapers and TV, watch TV, but I couldn't express it.
Oh.
Emotionally, I was devastated.
Mhm.
And my thanks to my son, suicide was out of the question.
So what you're saying is that
And
it was actually your son who turned the dice around for you. All right. All right. Okay.
and I had friends to support me, my wife, my brothers, all the family was there to support me. And my speech therapist, Punima, um, uh, always always had a very high regard for me,
All right.
that I was um, uh, been through so much, and that I was willing to learn.
Okay.
And I had 2 hours speech therapy, my speech therapist, and 2 hours in the evening with my brother. 4 hours continuously for 2 years.
All right. So Sharad, you would have been emotionally devastated because of the situation that you had suddenly come, suddenly facing. Something that probably you've never ever faced your entire life.
Yes, yes,
And I can see from this that the intensity of the love that you had for your son was actually started making that big difference in your mind in terms of planning a new life. Am I right?
yes, yes.
All right.
Purposely right. And emotionally, I was stable and proud to call myself to speak in 2, 3 sentences and did all the household course. And as my wife packing lunch for my son and my wife, I was I had looked after for, for 2 years my son well-being on my speech therapist instance.
Right.
I started accompanying her to counsel other stroke survivors.
Oh, so 1 minute. Let me understand this. You had now moved out of your vegetable state, so to speak, and you had
Yes.
actually started moving. This is a miracle. So you started moving around. You
Yeah.
started doing house chores, right? Housework, and you then started meeting up with your speech therapist, who would connect you, who obviously must have been very impressed with you, and therefore start connecting you with patients who had survived a stroke.
Yes.
Is that the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey? Was that the
Thank
beginning?
you. It is was the beginning.
All right.
I later on I will come to that.
All right.
Uh, um, and again on the Punima's instance, I started writing a book
All right.
called Incredible Journey from Stroke to Recovery.
An incredible journey from stroke to recovery. Ah, all right. Awesome.
My journey emphasizing healthy body and started sound mind, and I started realize that recovery is a lifelong process.
Mm.
Some other who is having a similar challenges with recovery. My, for example, mm, um, stroke, cancer, uh, left threatening diseases, and I started counseling a lot of people.
But I'd like to just butt in here for a minute. What is really surprising me is you were a vegetable. You made a determined step out of the bed, worked on yourself, worked on your speech. As a father and as a husband, also took care of the house chores, and with half your body paralyzed, you even sat and wrote a book.
Yes.
And that is amazing. This is amazing. This
Thank
is
you.
getting very interesting. This is getting
Thank
very,
you.
very interesting. All right.
Thank you.
And not only that, you had already sowed the seeds of entrepreneurship within yourself because you
Yeah.
were never an entrepreneur.
Yes,
You're part of the corporate world, and you had, when you got your stroke, you were already a chief executive officer of a very major educational setup. So now what happened? You wrote a book. Okay, then what happened next?
And my journey started off as a motivational speaker.
A motivational
I
speaker. All right.
Yeah, I realized that lot of people have a lot of software professional, and a lot of people has a left style.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe drinks, alcohol, secret smoking, all the
All right. So what you're trying to say is that all these vices, all these unnecessary habits, actually cause enormous amount of stress in human beings. All right. I agree with you. Yes,
yes,
I do. I agree with you. Yes.
yes, and I became a, professional motivational speaker, and I um, uh, past 5 years I given maybe about 25 talks all through the spectrums I covered,
Right. Right.
and I was always harping on um, 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 sound mind is a sound body.
A sound mind is a sound body. Oh, that's very true. Yes. Very, very true. Very true. Yes.
And I joined a course in 2018, and joined a professional counseling course
All right. All right.
for nine months. And after that, I got a diploma in counseling, and I use that counseling cancer patients, stroke patients, and are undergoing depression because of medical condition.
All right. So if I'm with you on this, you got your entrepreneurial niche, if I can call it, while you were being doctored by your therapist in terms of
Yes.
improving your speech, and that's probably when you realize that as a stroke survivor yourself, there probably that's when you got your calling, if I may put it correctly.
Yes.
And so you went ahead, wrote a book, then did a 9-month uh, professional course on counseling, because by that time I think your passion to pull people out of their miseries, especially if they're
Yes.
cancer patients and stroke survivors and so on and so forth, because you had gone through it yourself. What is your journey today as an entrepreneur? What is now bringing that major high into your life?
Uh, uh, I couldn't call it high.
All right.
I just enjoyed my life.
Right.
I've given everybody new life, be it friends,
Yes.
relatives, and patients,
Yes.
stroke survivors, or cancer patients. And I enjoyed my life.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Now, Sharad, one question I'd like to ask you. See, it would have taken an enormous amount of determination and an enormous amount of resilience to do what you're doing. Uh, of course, as you said, it was basically the love for your son that pulled you out of being a vegetable because you wanted to be with him, for your entire lifetime, fit
Thank
and
you.
healthy as the kind of father you always knew. Today, what is the impression your son has of you as a person who moved from a vegetable to now speaking in almost every platform being invited to, and constantly meeting up with people who need your services, need your helping hand? What do you think? What is it your son feels today?
He is super proud of me.
That is awesome.
And he says that he's now 16, 11th standard
Right,
grade.
right.
And he says that I um, I took as an example coming out of any situation,
Right,
be it friends, um, um, relationships, uh, came out of any situation, is super proud of me.
awesome, awesome, awesome. No, in fact, I'm sure uh, people like you, the kind of efforts you made and the kind of humongous change that you brought, not only within your own self, but the amount of change that obviously are bringing people's lives, especially people who have had a similar setback like you, is commendable. And I hope all you uh, wonderful gladiators watching this talk show look at Sharad as one of the most inspiring, I would say awe-inspiring people that you can always look up to whenever you're down yourself and you need to get that one big punch which says, if Sharad can do it, so can I.
So can I? So
That's
can you?
awesome. Yes. Sharad, one last question, and I don't mind how much time you take on this. It's perfectly all right. What would you, as taking yourself an example, advise all the CEOs and entrepreneurs today who are quite literally struggling with the new normal, the post-pandemic? Now all this seems so insignificant when we talk to you, right? Because it's your entire journey, your entire voyage goes far beyond post-pandemic, hurdles or whatever have you. So, what would you tell the young CEOs and budding entrepreneurs today?
Okay. Only a suggestion I can give all the CEOs of or entrepreneurs out there. Don't be so engaged with your work that you forget have to have fun.
Right, right, right,
A person who does not enjoy life
right,
is a big failure.
right,
No matter how much he earns, no matter how much he got a house with a 7 bedroom car, which
all right.
is
All the works, with all the works.
yes.
Yes,
But
yes,
if you forget to enjoy life, you will be called a big failure.
right, right, right.
And one more thing,
Yes,
every day, single day is a new opportunity to improve yourself.
awesome, 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 awesome.
And never take the time for granted.
Right, right, right,
And third point, life journey is not to arrive at the grave safely will preserve body,
right,
but
right,
rather than skid sideways, totally used up, worn out,
right.
thoughting what a right. Lead life people with a purpose.
Live life with a purpose. Oh, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this talk show. Let me tell you, we've known each other for over 2 decades, and you will always be an inspiration for me because
Thank you.
seeing who you were and then what became of you and then what you are today. You know what I tell myself? Every time I walk into a wall, I turn around and say, if my friend Sharad can do it, so can I.
Thank you.
And I just hope
So,
all you people out there watching this show, realize that if a man like him can move out from being just a mere vegetable
vegetable.
to who he is today, if he can do it, so can you. Thank you once again,
Thank
Sharad.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.